I'm going to start off by putting on a bold cap, or bold crap, because it's homemade and look at the state of it. Then to make it easier to paint on top of and draw on top of, I'm just putting some foundation and setting it with some translucent powder. With a nude coloured eyeliner, I'm just sort of drawing out and mapping out the features of the face and the lines and the dents and stuff like that, just so I know where I'm working. And then I'm just going to get a fluffy brush and a brown eyeshadow, and I'm just going to hollow out my eyes a bit to look a bit more deep and dead. And then with a smaller brush but the same brown, I'm just going to hollow out the little dents that I've made, like the indents in his skin, and hollow them out a bit to make them look deep, so it gets more dimension to it all. And I'm just going to add a few more bits in where I see fit, and I'm constantly looking at reference pictures when I'm doing this as well, so that's why I'm looking back and forth all the time, just so I can sort of get it as accurate as I can. Then with a darker brown and the small brush again, I'm just going to go back into the really deep parts that I want to show and really deepen them up. And that will be like around the edges of all the lines that I've made and all the creases around the eyes, just to really sort of give that extra depth. And also around like some of the dents and that, I'm just going to shade, leave a gap and then shade around them, because it just gives it the illusion of being deep and then sticking out and then deep again. But later on I will be putting highlights to emphasise the sticky outy bits, if that makes sense. It probably doesn't. I am useless at explaining. Just watch the video. That might be better than listening to me. Then with a black eyeshadow this time, I'm just going to really deep insert certain areas, like the top of the nose where it would be more like a hole, and the hollows of the face, like those little scarry gouged out bits. And that just gives it a more realistic feel with more dimension into the whole look of the face. Makes it look more detailed without actually being more detailed. Then with a white face paint and a really fine brush, I'm just going to go over areas like where the dark is, just go on top of that to make it more of a contrast, and around the eyes just little lines just to make the eyes appear more sort of weathered, etc. Then I was going to go onto the body. I wasn't sure if I was going to do this or not, but I just went for it. I'm just using that eyeliner again just to outline roughly where the clothes would be, and then with a red face paint I'm filling in the jacket and popping on a white face paint for the collar. And the dog got very interested in what I was doing, and then disinterested very quickly as well. And then just to give it more of a distressed look, I'm just using a black and brown eyeshadow and just dabbing that on with a big brush, just so it doesn't look so solid and plain. I'm putting a cream eyeshadow colour on top of the white, just so it's not so clean looking. And then with a brown face paint and a fine brush, I'm just outlining the areas and then filling them in, and not forgetting the seams and the button and buttonhole. And with a white, just sort of adding little bits where it looks like the seams are coming apart sort of thing. And then with a black eyeshadow again, adding more depth to the neck, creases, and on like the edges of the seams on the jacket and things like that. And then I'm not forgetting the ears, because his ears are quite sort of stuck to his head, so I just sort of got rid of the bottom of it with a black eyeshadow. Putting on my really crudely made hat, and then that is it.
I'm John Hancock, you feel me? I'm so bad at impressions.